Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp as we once again have a look at some of the games coming out for the Switch in this upcoming week. In terms of dates, we'll be going from the 29th of June up until the 5th of July, but we will look at a few games that have crept out without being in one of these videos first for whatever reason, and then move on to that week at hand. So which games are coming out for the Switch this week? Well, let's find out. First of all then, a stealth drop from the other day that I don't believe many people saw coming, that's Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition. This is a remastered version of the game that came out back in 2003 I believe it was, on consoles such as the GameCube, and has quite the following for it these days. I don't think it sold particularly well back in the day, I may be wrong there, but it's certainly accumulated a large fan base over the years. This has improved graphics and controls along with updated audio and remastered soundtrack, and new quality of life features including autosave, cross-save and cutscene skip. I'm sure many people are delighted to see this game resurface, and at £17.99 it's a lot cheaper than some remasters from other companies, that's for sure. We do have a full video on this game if you want to give it a watch. I'll put a link to it in the top right hand corner.
You might remember we did an advert for Raycon, I think it was around Christmas time. Now unfortunately my wife, well, she treated them to a little bath, let's just put it that way. So it was pretty sweet when Raycon reached back out with the latest version of their everyday earbuds. With this upgraded model, you've now got active noise cancellation, which is a right touch, let me tell you. But I also use them on my Nintendo Switch and my phone, and they've got what's called multi-point connectivity. You might have tried some other Bluetooth headphones, and sometimes it'll be connected to your phone and you'll have to unpair them and then get the other device and try and pair them, but there'll be like a third device that you forgot about and it will automatically connect to those. It's a right pain. So multi-point connectivity, it basically means you just connect to them. It's like the way you think Bluetooth should work. There are also a variety of different colours that you can choose from. I just went for the plain old black, I like that look, whereas Glen, being a Spurs supporter, went for blue. I gotta be honest, I did get a bit of FOMO with his ones, they do look very snazzy. Onto the nitty gritty, you're getting about 32 hours of battery life in total with that charging case. There's a quick charge function, so 10 minutes of charging gets you 90 minutes of battery, and they're also weatherproof, they've got an IP66 rating, they're just very good headphones. So click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/switchup to get 15% off your purchase of Raycons plus free shipping. So that's it, thanks to those guys for sponsoring this episode.
Another that's already out, we have Rusted Moss. This is a Metroidvania that released a few weeks back and uses a physics-based grapple system. You'll be using your grapple and your weapons with a full 360-degree aiming system, and it promises a smooth experience using these controls as you feel in complete control over your character. It utilises a twin-stick shooter system, meaning that you can aim in more than 8 directions, and there are 20 plus unique abilities to find, 6 bosses, 8 weapons, and multiple endings. It released on the 20th of June and it sells for £16.75 or your regional equivalent. And the final game for those already out is the Ouroboros King. This is a roguelite with chess elements where you must defend your king, taking down the other king in the process to win the stage and move on, and you'll be building an army to do just that, with pieces that combine classic chess with all new pieces with unique abilities, and as in chess you can only move one piece per turn, so must strategize appropriately. It sells for £8.99 but does currently have 20% off of that price up until the 10th of July. And our friend Dave over at Game It Up has done a review of this game if you want a bit more information. Again, I'll put a link to it in the top right hand corner. Moving on to the games coming out this week then, and the first of those is Escape from the Tower. This sees you guiding a princess as she makes her escape from a formidable tower, battling through hordes of enemies, overcoming challenging obstacles and facing off against a fearsome dragon along the way. It says you'll need to utilise unique abilities, collect powerful items and strategise your way to victory. I quite liked the look of the trailer, I must say. It did look like some of the puzzle based environments that you'll need to get through as you make your way up the tower were quite intuitive, and I liked the mechanic of the dragon that seemed to be breathing fire in at moments that obviously you'd need to avoid. It sells for £4.49 but there is 40% available off of that price up until launch day, which is the 29th. Bringing it down to just £2.69 at this moment in time. Then we have the Battle Cats Unite. Now I must say, every time I hear the name Battle Cat it does remind me of Cringer from He-Man more than any computer game, but this is a tower defense game which used to be on mobile and was quite successful as far as I know, where you have over 350 different types of cat hero that you get from an in-game capsule machine, and you'll need to use them to plough through over 300 stages. The gameplay is very similar actually to a game that released last week, funnily enough, in Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. They must be cursing themselves that that game stealth dropped after the Nintendo Direct. But I'm assuming this must have a big following, judging by the numbers in terms of downloads it's had whilst on mobile, and you can play with 2 players also. It's selling for £15.99, which is more expensive than the aforementioned Metal Slug game, but releases on the 2nd of July if you are interested. I would love to see a game in this style actually with He-Man characters, now I've got that on the brain. Imagine getting Teela or Man-at-Arms, Trapjaw, Evelyn out of the gacha machine and putting them to battle, that would be great. Next then we have MACHI with Everyone, which is a digital version of a board game that won German Game of the Year back in 2015 and has sold over 1 million copies worldwide. It combines the MACHI game with its sister game MACHI KORO Plus and can be played offline or online with up to 4 people. Now this is not a game I know anything about, so I'll give you a quick read of the blurb. It says all players start the game with 2 establishments, a wheat field and a bakery, as well as 3 coins. The player whose turn it is rolls 1 or 2 dice, and if the dice roll matches the number on one of their establishments, they can activate that establishment's effect. After this they can build 1 establishment or landmark. The player who builds all the landmarks first wins the game. I'm sure once you get into the swing of it, it'll be a lot of fun, and I do like digital interpretations of classic board games, although I must say, as a physical collector, I do like to get the real thing myself too. This is selling for £20.99 and is going to release on the 4th.
With everyone! You are an urban planning advisor, and your objective is to grow your town faster than your opponents. Roll the dice.
Also this week we have Taboo Trial. This calls itself a 3D roguelike action game where you are a Valkyrie choosing blessings from the Nordic gods to build your unique combat style. You'll unlock different Valkyries in Valhalla as you play, each with distinct styles, and need to take up weapons and challenge the giants, selecting blessings of the gods. Your choices here helping to shape your character. The blurb doesn't give much away, I must say. It would have been nice to get a bit more information in terms of exactly how the game works. But the trailer certainly does give credence to it being an action game with some insane numbers being posted in terms of the damage you are doing. Out on the 4th if you are interested for £16.69 or your regional equivalent. The penultimate game for the week is The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak, part of the Trails sub-series from the Legend of Heroes franchise. This released in 2021 on the PlayStation 4 and is now about to make its way over to the Nintendo Switch. You play as a character called Van Arkwright, an underground professional that accepts work from any client and acts as a detective, negotiator or bounty hunter with no allegiance. It says the course of his life will change forever when he takes on a strange case that threatens the entire nation. I've only ever played one of the Trails games, that being Trails from Zero, and this one does have a demo that you can try if you want to see what it's all about before it releases. It comes out on the 5th of July and it will sell for £53.99, so pretty expensive, or your regional equivalent.
What should I do? Here I come!
You're not getting away! Blast off!
And finally for the week then we have Cyber Citizen Shockman Zero. Now there are a few of the Shockman games on the Switch now, all of which are games that released in the past, and I believe this one in particular first released in 1997 on the Satellaview, which was an add-on or an extension for the Super Famicom. The Satellaview was a device that your Super Famicom would sit onto and allowed you to download games, meaning this didn't actually get a physical release back in the day, obviously very rare for games of that era, and it's a platform beat 'em up with 2 different characters, both with unique skill sets, and you can play the game in cooperative play. It's nice to see games like this released that are quite obscure, I was just reading actually this did eventually receive a physical release in 2017 to commemorate its 20th anniversary. There was a limited release for the Super Famicom, obviously one that would be very hard to find in that form, so to have it digitally for a decent price will be the way to go for the majority of people that want to play it. It's out on the 5th and will sell for £6.99 or your regional equivalent. So there you have it, another week of Nintendo Switch releases. Do any of these games interest you? Will you be picking any of them up? Please do let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget, if you are looking for eShop credit to pick any of these games up, you can get your eShop cards over at our website switchup.gg, and doing so will get you 5% back in cashback that you can then use against a future purchase. It's a good way of getting a bit of money back, and it does build up over time, meaning if you use it often enough and it keeps building, at some point you'll be able to get yourself an eShop card effectively for free. There's also links down there to places such as PlayAsia if you're looking to pick up any imports, and again there's a discount code down there where you can make yourself a 5% saving. A quick thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.